Hi, I'm getting ready for the holiday season here, and one of the things that we are doing is trying to get our couches back to the condition that they ought to be in for our guests. We have a pretty nice leather couch here. We actually have two of them. This is one that I've already completed, but as you can see, it's in a condition that at least doesn't show too many scratches on it. It does show some wear. These couches are about a dozen years old, but it does look a little bit better than, for example, this couch over here. You can see the dogs are on it. They scratch it up, and it really does quite a number on the cushion here. And rather than have our guests sitting on this, we would rather have them sit on the more restored version. But what I do is actually rather simple. Here are the products that I use to do this. We have a Kiwi Color Shine, which is the same color as our couch, brown, along with a cloth that I've used many times. We have regular Kiwi shoe polish that's also brown and a buffing brush. And finally, we use the Kiwi Shine sponge that I believe is probably a mink oil infused sponge to give it a bit of a shine at the end. Now, of course, it's not rocket science. Simply just covering the finish, it kind of gets the color back to where it should be and puts a nice shine onto the couch. We have found that it lasts at least 3 to 6 months depending on what our dogs do, jumping on and off of it. Which we don't like, but we don't mind that they're on the couch, so we put up with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is to use the Color Shine to get the color back at least a little bit. And kind of rub it in. I let it dry for a few minutes, and I kind of just use the sponge that comes with the Color Shine material to buff it in a little bit. It's going to be a dry shine in a kind of a matte finish. It's going to be kind of a rough surface, and it's really just restaining the leather back to the color that you want. You can also take and rub it in a little bit with a cloth to sort of blend it in. And as you can see, I'm just showing you a little part here, but that definitely will bring out the darker color of the leather, or at least hide the lighter color from the scratches before we move on to the next step. Here's a part way through of this particular cushion, which is really one of the worst cushions that we're working on. You can see that here I'm putting on quite a bit more, and I'm really kind of letting it soak in a little bit before I rub it in. But I'm squeezing on the bottle while I'm applying, and that's getting a lot more of the Color Shine onto it than you would normally put on if you were using this for shoes. And then I'm going to take my cloth and really kind of rub it in as best I can. And you can really see the difference. Okay, so that's the end of step one. We use the Color Shine to really get rid of the scuffs and kind of at least bring the main color back into the couches, the cushions rather, and onto the arms. And don't forget to do the face of the cushion as well. I realize that this is really just cosmetic, but it really does a nice job of bringing it back so that it can be used. We let that dry about 10 minutes, and then we move on to the next step, which is to use the shoe polish to rub that in and give it more of a glossy finish as well. Okay, so now we're going to apply the shoe polish which is just your standard shoe polish. I prefer to apply it with the same rag and wipe it on, and then we're going to take the buffing brush and buff it out, which will give it a nice shiny, smooth feel as well. All right, so we're going to apply the polish. You can see that it's sort of shining up right away. So we're going to make sure that we brush out all of the spots that have been exposed to the shoe polish. You want to get a nice shine on there, and you can see how that's shining right up. Okay, finally the last step is to apply the shine sponge, which I do believe is infused with something like mink oil, which puts a nice final finish on it. I can assure you that the way that we've done this, that this does not cause staining to clothing or anything else once it's been applied. And it does last, as I said, for several months. I realize that this is mostly cosmetic, but it really does a nice job of putting it together. Here's the application of the shine sponge, and you can see that it shines right up. So finally, when you're done, you do have a nicely restored leather cushion couch that'll last at least for a little while until the dogs jump on it again and scratch it up for you.